All right, back to work. So it looks like I missed some fun on Friday. Just my opening remarks for this what I'm looking at so far. From what I see, really, Friday's sell-off was really more about Trump's statements than it was about the charts. And even with all that, I'm still seeing an actually bullish setup. Again, assuming that he doesn't, shoot his mouth off again or do something ridiculous, which is obviously out of our control. The chart itself doesn't look bearish at all. I mean, I'm starting to see this. Right? We've rallied all the way up to the supply on the daily chart. Right here was our supply zone. And we back tested to the 200 moving average and it held. And what we've got was a higher low. Take a look at the 240. Right? So we've already cleaned out supply. And assuming that we get the continuation of this bounce that started on Friday, I wouldn't be surprised if we're at 2,800 really fast this week, especially if we get one of those tweets that says, oh, I spoke to President Xi and blah, 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 some kind of nonsense that they calm everybody down. The Dow will go up 1,000 and the S&P will go up 300 in one day because we've actually cleaned out supply. We're at 2,600. We ended up closing above 2,600, which is quite bullish, right? And then the next fresh level of supply is somewhere around 2750. And if we're up 150, this thing is just going to keep going. So I'm very, very skeptical of the shorts still. Again, if he comes out tomorrow and says, I'm putting, another $200 billion of tariffs on imports and blah, 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 and all this kind of stuff, then, we're going to crash and we're going to see 2450. But it's not something that we can actually anticipate. If I'm just calm, and he doesn't open his mouth again, then what I'm looking at is a very bullish setup, okay? Cleaned out supply, you could take it over here on the 60 chart, okay? And there's the higher low again, okay? Even after we had the first higher low back here, we got another one now over here, and it's starting to hold. It closed above 2,600, and where's the fresh supply? Somewhere all the way up here, right? Above this area. So, yeah, there's still some lower level supply zones that we have to deal with along the way. But, at this, I'm looking at really nice little setup here, right? Chance to get in. Here's a supply zone. We need a higher low on the 15, and this thing is off. It's back to here. So I would not be surprised to see a lot of retracement overnight tonight, especially if Trump decides to, give some legs to the market as opposed to crushing it every day. We're going to see a massive, massive rally. Again, if he says, that they're going to do something, there's nothing we can control. What will happen is we'll see another lower high on the 60 chart, right? We already have one. We didn't take out the bottom. We'll get another one of these, and then we'll take out the bottom, and then 2450 is in play. So which way is it going right now? My bias, I would say, is about 60 to 70% up, assuming he doesn't say anything. If he says something, then it's almost 100% down. Okay, so we just got to be, diligent with our stops for now. I'm leaning to the long side. That's what I'm looking at over here. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask. Otherwise, I'm moving on to NQ. Cool. Everybody's good? All right, good. All right, let's look at NQ. NQ actually looks a little better than ES. The sell-off wasn't as steep. And again, the same idea with the little inverted hammer, inverted head and shoulders going on. I mean, you can see it a little better on 240, but it's here. It's got a little double head. And then there's the other shoulder that's over here. And again, there's no supply here until almost 6,900. Again, 400 or 500 points for NQ. That's what we're looking at. All right? So I would not be bearish over here at all, especially if Trump keeps his mouth closed. We're going to see a massive, massive rally. This supply that's here, which is something that actually worked really nicely, has been used. Right? This supply zone is actually this. And we got a nice sell-off. We didn't break the bottom, and therefore we come back to the zone breaks, and we got air above it to 7,000. So, I see the bullish setup over here still. If we do break down again, well, then all bets are off. Then we're going to, down to next level of demand on the sixth on the daily chart is, I think, was 6,000 maybe, was it? And go take a look. Yeah, 6,000. So we're talking about a 1,000-point swing. If we rally from here, we're going to 7,000. If we break down, we're going to 6,000. That's what it comes down to. So we'll wait and find out. There's nothing we can do other than what the chart tells us right now. And right now the chart's telling me I want to be a bull, not a bear. Okay. There's our 60 chart. Looks like we landed right inside our demand zone over here on 60. We do have a lower high. We don't have a high. We don't have a lower low. So again, we're in limbo. The trend was up at the time, and now we're just waiting to see what's going to happen. Coming tomorrow. My guess again, some 60 to 7% is bull. If he doesn't say anything, it's almost 100% bull. Right? If he opens his mouth, it's 100% bear. So it's really more contingent on what Trump does than the chart. The chart's telling me I want to be a bull. Can he screw that up? Sure he can. So let's find out. Right? So in the meantime, we'll be looking for, assuming there is no statement made overnight, we'll be looking for a long entry tomorrow. Okay, and we'll wait for that to form itself somewhere along over here, where we'll get a higher low on the 15-minute chart after this low that was made on Friday, and then we'll be able to get into a long. Okay, everybody cool so far? No problems? Everybody's good with me? Everybody's following me? Someone has a question? Week. What's up, brother? How you been, man?
Hey, Joe. How are you?
Good.
Nice to have you back. A quick question. I just wanted to know, you said that you were waiting until tomorrow. Are there some markets that you would consider actually placing limit orders on overnight, considering the fact that you're connected?
So let me tell you what I have with overnight trades. I don't mind so much trading overnight if you're out by, let's call it 7 a.m. Eastern, because any kind of stuff that goes on in overnight, almost every time will get retraced. So, what do? You think you're going to get yourself into a swing trade in an overnight position? It's not going to work. Not going to work. So, if you're talking about getting in and out, before the next morning, okay, you could try that. Be my guest. But to get in tonight and expect that you're going to be able to hold through the open tomorrow, and then tomorrow's bias is very, very unlikely. More likely that you're going to get stopped out. So, it doesn't pay. That's the way I look at it. Unless you're saying, okay, I'm going to take a quick trade and I'll be out by the time the morning comes, I have a target set. Maybe it hits me in the middle of the night and I made a quick trade. Fine, go for it. But don't expect to be able to hold that through the morning session. Not going to work. Okay.
Got it. Thanks.
That being said, if you're in a position already from the morning session and you're holding it as a swing trade, obviously, then you're going to sit through fluctuations like that in the middle of the night, obviously, right? But that's a different ballgame. But talking about getting in an overnight session, not the greatest. I prefer not to do it personally. Okay.
Okay. Thanks.
Cool. No problem. Next. All right. That was that. And let's take a look at crude, which is doing very, very nicely on the short side. And again, I've been talking about this for a couple of weeks now. And the clear 66 top is in. That's for sure. Double top, no problem. And now we even have the confirmed lower high on the weekly chart right here. See it? Beautiful. Which means that this will break down. We're going to be at my 55, 56, 57, 58, somewhere under this. I don't know about this week. I would say, target for this week is probably somewhere around 60-ish, maybe a little under 60. And then by the week after that, we're looking at 55, somewhere down underneath this graph. So crude is screwed. So we definitely want to be short this week if we're not short already. Again, the trend line was the tag right here. You can see that again on the daily. That thing's been holding up so far. And expect a little bounce out of this demand zone that we've landed in on the 240. It's right the band zone outside the Bollinger Bands, which will give us a short entry. There's a really nice zone over here. I will be looking for a short entry. I'm going to show it to you now for crude. Oh, I love it. Okay, so that's what we're looking at over here. It's a 60 zone over here. It's right around 62.50. What is this for over here, right? And you can see that it looks like this on the 15. Should it get through there, there's still maybe some resistance over here. This looks like a 5-minute level over there, but I don't think we're going through this sucker. Somewhere over here around 62.50, which is about 40, 50 cents, which we might get a back test, after such a steep sell-off on Friday. We'll get an overnight little rally, test some of the weak shorts and stop them out, and maybe we get a chance to get short right around here. That one is one of my favorites for this week. I like that crude short. Again, my target for this week is going to be somewhere around $60. And even then, I'm not closing it. I'm looking for 57. Okay. So, look for yourselves a short entry for crude. Again, I didn't trade on Friday. I took the last day of my vacation and decided not to do anything. I didn't even turn on my phone. But I hope some of you guys caught that. That was pretty. Okay. Let's see what's going on over here. And erase. Anybody have a question? Let's take a look before I move on. Yes. Who's got the question? Let's see who it is. Sounds like my computer decides to behave. Why is it not showing me who it is? On the other screen, maybe? Let's take a look. No. I see that someone has a question, but I cannot see who it is. Why is that? That's really weird. Let's try that again. There we go. Eddie. What's up, brother? What's going on, man?
Hi, Joe.
How you feeling?
If it gets above that 6250, 60 area.
Yeah, so there's an area a little bit over here. It's like there's something over here. It's going to be on the 5. I'll go look at it for now. I was not really hoping this. There's going to be something like right around here because of all these lows, but it's not on the 15, which means it's a smaller time frame than the 15. We'll go look at it now. See, it's around 63 or change. Let me see if we can identify where it is. Should it get through 6250? We're looking at, let's see. Okay. Yeah, I mean, it's clear as day on the 5-minute chart, right? It's right here. See it? Prior low, right here. There's the drop, base drop. That's the level we're talking about. So the 6250 is this area. And then you're talking about this. Let's put it on the chart. I know that we found it. That's what I would say. It looks like to me, I would draw it like this. Crude. Put the right alert on it. Give me a sec. Crude. Okay, you want it to be red. And so we're looking at 6303 as a distal, and the proximal is coming in at 92. So it's really small. So like 11 ticks, Eddie. That's what I'm seeing.
By the way, on your alert, I don't think you put CL. I think you put the dollar.
Did I? Let me see. It's hard. On my laptop, I can't tell. No, it looks like CL, right? Yeah, it's the C and the L. It looks like a D, but yeah, it's CL. Thanks, man. Appreciate it. But that's the level. So that's what I would look after this 6250. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Thanks.
All right, man. Thank you for pointing that out to me. I appreciate that, Ed. All right, let's go on. Gold. So gold obviously bounced when the market started selling off. But if you look at the bounce, it's crap. It's really weak. Nothing great. We're still looking at this lower high situation over here on the 240, right? So we came back to a demand zone, right, which was originally here, right? And we rallied away, made a lower high. And then, we sort of made a higher low, so we made a higher high slightly. And then we came back to the zone again, the third time, with another lower high first. And then again, this was the news. So again, as long as we hold this area as 6350, I would say line in the sand, we stay under 6350, breaking 1300 for gold. Again, but this is going to be contingent on Trump because, this is looked at like a safe haven. And, the market starts to tank because he's shooting his mouth off and gold's going to rally again. So, again, the chart itself, barring any outside influence, is telling us we want to be short. And the target now is going to be somewhere around 1300. I mean, that's, $40 down. Major sell-off for gold. I wouldn't be surprised if we test this 200 moving average on the daily chart over here. You'll notice that we broke above it like right around the end of December on the daily, and we have not been back there. So we're looking at a nice little test of 1296, 97, something like that, under 1300, and then maybe we could talk about, a pop. But for now, I'm still bearish here, and I'm looking for myself for a short entry. I'm not currently in any positions at all. I closed everything on Thursday, and I went to enjoy my last day on the beach. So we're looking at here. There's a nice little supply zone coming up over here on the 60. Looks like we've sort of got close to it. After that, there's something a little higher on the 15 that we'll take a look at, but 1340-ish or so, right there. And then we can look at up here on the around 1350. So either 1340, 45 to 50 area on the 15-minute chart is where we're going to be looking for the short. Again, as long as we hold this peak up here, we're okay with the shorts. If we start getting above here, I'm not gonna take any more shorts after that. So this area is still fine. Taking shorts here, we just cleaned out some more demand. We just analyzed it on the higher time frame that this area down here should break the next time we come down there. So no problem getting a short around here someplace. Okay, target's going to give 1300. We're talking about approximately $40 down. Okay, that's gold. If you have a question, you know what to do. Otherwise, let's go look at nat gas, which has been asleep. Hey, George, what's up, buddy? Got a gold question, George?
Hey, Joe, I'll be brief.
No problem. Take your time.
On your lower time frame charts, like your 60, is there a minimum duration that you're looking at? I know it's a function of the zones, but there's a minimum if you look at a week or 2 weeks.
You mean when I'm looking for zones in this direction?
Correct. Yes, you can see to the left.
Yeah. So I personally don't have a minimum number. I'm just looking for a fresh zone. I don't care how far it is. As a matter of fact, the further it is, the more likely it is to work. So when I'm putting my zones on, I'm just drawing the first fresh zone. That's what I'm doing, which means if you'll notice here, right, that this is this. And then this zone up here, well, that's fresh because of this, right? And then this one here is, this is this. So I don't care where they are. I'll just keep going until I find the zone, and then I put it on the chart. So I usually what I do is draw 3 above and 3 below, basically. And however long that takes me to go far and back in time to do, that's what I'll do. That's the way I usually do it on the lower time.
Clarify my question real quick. So
okay, good. You didn't understand. Go ahead.
Yeah, you have the zones, but I guess my point is, once you find your zones, do you make sure that you have the starting point of those zones on when you have that lower time frame 4 grid chart up?
Oh, well, okay. I'm still not clear, but I think what you're asking is, let's say this is the same. This is my 4 chart, right? I just blew up this 60-minute chart a second ago, and I put it back here. And do I care how much of the prior candles I'm looking at over here? Do I leave it like this or like this? Is that your question?
Exactly.
Yes. So my answer to that is I don't care, only because there's an alert on every line. So when it gets hit, even if it's not showing, I can be looking at like this, and the line that's not visible gets hit. I'm still getting an alert, and I'll come look at the chart and say, well, what was that? You know what I mean? So I'm using the alert as my notification to tell me, hey, go find what's going on, as opposed to actually seeing it, because I'm not looking at every asset at the same time. Right? I'm allowing the alert to tell me, hey, go look at this asset or go look at that asset. So, yeah, the answer to that is I don't care. Sometimes I'll leave it like this. Sometimes I'll leave it like this. It depends on however I left it last. That's the truth. All right?
Okay, thanks, Joe.
Hope I answered your question, man. Okay, cool. All right, next. All right, nat gas. So nat gas has been asleep. No question about that. It's banging between the 2760 and 2700 for the past, 2650 and 2750 for the past, week or so. We really need to close above that 2750 to get this thing going. Even above 2700, we've had difficulty closing above over the last couple of days. So it's still looking bullish. It's not looking bearish, but it's not looking very bullish. It's just looking like it's hanging around. It's been quiet for too long. If you look at the daily chart, I mean, it's really just going sideways for a really long time, and that usually tends to lead to a massive, explosive move. So I'm still paying a lot of attention because I expect the move to actually be up Again, from the weekly perspective, we had that engulfing candle last week, and this week we didn't go anywhere near retracing the engulfer. We got through the top and some resistance, but that's going to be looking like, I think, a drop-based drop. And look what we're looking at over here. I mean, just air for, I don't know, 500 points. Something crazy is going to happen in that gas. So that's why I keep coming back to it, because I know that it's going to explode very soon. And I'm just keeping my eye on it for now. It looks like a little bit over here, we're building another higher low on the daily chart. And this may be a bull flag getting ready to pop. So we have to really pay attention, because once it starts to go, it isn't coming back anymore. It's going to really rally strong, because it's been quiet for too long. And this thing is a beast. It's an animal. It moves like crazy. So when it starts to go, it's going to just go. All right? So don't lose sight of it, because it's going to be a massive trade here. I believe it's going to be to the long side. But right now, this is a bull flag that we're looking at on the 60 chart. There's some demand underneath that got hit. Looks like on Thursday, and it rallied back up, and it stopped in the supply, and a little back test, and that's it. We're going to get through this thing. So get ready for a rally in that gas this week. Where the entry is, can't say yet. Too early to tell. Maybe we'll see on what it looks like tomorrow morning. Okay. That's that gas. The dollar. Let's take a look. So we made a higher low back last week, and we rallied up into the supply on the daily chart. And then on Friday, we got a little back test and a little low. Again, that's all related to Trump's statements. Last week, remember the bullish twins down there on the weekly chart, and then we got above that this week. And then Friday was really most of the pullback, right? Because, I mean, we pretty much retraced back to where the week started from just on Friday, really. So this is just a back test. It could become another higher low and a turnaround and an explosive move out again. So I think that is the path the dollar's trying to take. And again, as long as Trump does what he's going to be doing, which is hopefully say nothing, the dollar should rally, and then we'll get the sell-off of all the equities after that. I mean, so all the currencies after that. So you can see that, again, similar, right? The euro did exactly the opposite, where we get a nice rally on Friday because the dollar's getting hammered because of the anticipated trade issues that we might be having, which between me and you, I'm going to, once I brought it up, I mean, let's just talk logically for a second, okay? When you owe the bank, let's call it $1 million, right? So the bank owns you. But when you owe the bank $10 billion, you own the bank. And right now, we owe China so much money. They're holding all kinds of numbers of our treasury bills. So if you think for 1 second that they're going to crush our economy, you're a fool, and Trump knows this. He's a businessman. He understands that China is screwed because we owe them so much money. They cannot allow our economy to get crushed. And he's playing hardball. He understands that. He knows that he's going to get a much better trade deal because they have no choice. So he can shoot his mouth off all he wants and say, we're going to do this and this and that. And China's going to threaten. They cannot impose the tariffs they're talking about because it's going to crush them. Because we are their consumer. Okay, we're the biggest consumer for them. All right, and we're just going to stop buying from them. Plus, that's going to hurt them. And then B, they're not going to get their money back because we're not going to have the money to pay them because they're hurting us. Does that make any sense? Makes no sense. So, and Trump understands this, and most people don't understand this, but Trump understands this, and he's playing hardball. He's smart. He's a businessman. He's going to get a much better trade deal, and there's going to be a deal. I guarantee you, there's going to be a deal, and the market is going to explode when that happens. How long is that going to take? That depends on who. They're playing chicken with each other right now. Whoever flinches first. That's what it comes down to. And I think that the U.S. is actually in a better position than China is. So I think they're going to start to give in soon. When it happens, I don't know, but when it does happen, you can imagine what's going to happen to the dollar and what's going to happen to the markets. Okay, so that's my piece of the puzzle, but that's what we're looking at. Okay, and therefore I think the euro is actually going to roll over again because this was the reaction to Trump's statements on Friday. We should be seeing again, even with that rally, we're still looking at a downtrend on the 240, very clear, a bunch of lower highs. All this lower. Where's it going? It's not going anywhere. Even though it had a very nice strong pop, it's still down. And therefore, that's the path it wants to choose. And we want to stay short. Okay. So there's some demand under here, nonsense. So, we're going to come back into some of these levels of supply. I like this one. Should we get up here for some reason, right here, then definitely take a short. We could pop up into that little thing and get a shot up there into 124. Looks like around 300 or so. Beautiful supply zone. Okay, right above all this garbage, give you a very nice clean entry. Okay, Natine has a question. Yes, my friend, go ahead.
Hey, Joe, the supply zone you have right there at 123,690 and 123,880. You still kept it over there because it has not pierced through, right? It hasn't.
We have not pierced it, and we've made a new low from the time that we left that zone.
Got it. Yep.
So once that's still a valid zone, it means we come back there, it's still okay because it created a new low. If there was a higher low in the way, I would not look at that zone anymore.
Yep.
Got it?
I'm getting that. Now I understand the way you draw this a little bit.
Cool. Good. Malik, what's up? Eddie and Malik. Go ahead. Malik first. Your mic's on.
Joe, EC made a new low, so why wouldn't you consider the previous zone like the lower zone? If it's made a new low, you should be able you should short on the first supply zone.
Yes, this one over here, right?
Yeah.
The lower one. I'm just saying if it gets up here. Yeah, I have nothing wrong with taking the zone. I just told Natine it's a good zone. I agree with you.
There's even a lower one, right? I mean, there's a tiny one.
There's one, but that was hit like over here. It got hit already. That one got hit already, and that one has like a little demand right underneath us. I don't know, but yeah, it's still okay. Small. This is a much better zone up here. This one. It's like all these other zones. Yeah, the last one is still fresh because we made a new low from here, but it's still like stair step, right? This zone, this zone, this zone over here. This is like whoa, right? Beautiful. So yeah, can I take a short here based on my rules? Absolutely, no problem. Yeah, for sure. But this one is more enticing. That's all. Okay. And see, the assumption for that is that we have to go right into the zone, right? And just keep going. So if this doesn't hold, then we go right into the zone. Take a short over here. Okay. Eddie's got a question. Okay.
Thanks.
No problem, man. Go ahead, Eddie.
Yeah, what I was going to say is, I know you've got those zones over there, but don't you have like a higher high now at least?
Yes, I don't. I see where you look. This little sucker over here. You want to say this one little here? This thing?
No, not that one. No, you've got a higher high right to the left. Like you've got a double bottom, then it goes back down.
Yeah, that's
back down again.
This little demand zone you're talking about. This thing?
Go a little in between.
In between.
The little higher around 123.07 where it turns back.
123.07 is here. The bottom of the zone is 123.07.
Right. So go to the left of your blue line.
Okay.
No, just left of the blue line.
This little thing? This thing?
in between those two wicks.
Gotcha. Here.
No, I'm looking at the high, not the low. I'm looking at the high.
Oh, I got you. You're looking at this.
Yeah. Yeah, basically, you've got like almost 3 tests of the bottom, and then you've got a high. And so you basically, the way I look at it, you've definitely got a high.
Bang, bang. We pushed over here, and this became a higher low because we pushed into that and pushed down, and now I'm pushing upwards, right? That's what you're saying.
Exactly. It's almost like 3 tests of that bottom area.
I happen to agree with what you're saying. So I see it, and then but I still have supply here, that's fresh supply. And I have fresh supply here, right? So this is not an uptrend by any means, right? So taking a short up here, I totally can see this happening. What you're talking about, I think, if I take this down to let's say a 5-minute zone, I'm going to start to see an uptrend over here.
What I'm saying
I would agree with you.
That first zone you got above,
even
if you get some kind of a pullback, it's going to be minimal because you're liable to have a higher low.
Somewhere over here. Right.
Exactly.
That's why I have a demand zone there. I agree with you. That's why I'm not, by my rules would allow me to take a short here. I should at least be able to get my risk off here because, again, this is really just one move up over here, at least on this time frame. So I would be taking a short here because you never know if we're going to crash to the bottom over here. But again, I started the whole conversation with I like this a lot better, right? Because that's the zone that really looks like.
Okay. No, I just want to check because I don't even have the one above there because I just considered it. It could be that level, it could be slightly above, it could be slightly above. There's nothing really clear.
This one over here you're talking about. So this level you don't have. So I'll tell you why I did draw this one. Because of this this. Yeah, the flip area, right? You see that was flipped over. That's the only reason it's here. And then it made a new low. So if there was no new low, I wouldn't bother with that either, just because it's a flip area. But it made a new low. So coming back here you have to test this. We made a new low for this area.
I had it when it made that first low, started moving up, and if it would have continued going up, I would have loved it. In other words, when we made
so over here. You drew it here.
The new ultimate low. When we made that low, it started going up. I had that zone because I wanted it to continue going up without coming back down again.
Right, I got you. All right. So that's what we're looking at for now. I think we're looking at a short over here. That's what I think that we'll find out. We'll find out tomorrow. But this will give us a T1. This is probably the one that if we do get through this, if it's an if, I don't know, but if we do, that's probably the one that gets us back to the downside. All right, Keith's got a question as well. Let's take Keith's question, and then Malik has another question. Go ahead, Keith. What's up, brother?
Yeah, hey, Joe. Yeah, so, well, just you went to that discussion. When you get up to that, it's really nice to...
We got to get you a better internet connection, bro. Tell me. Every time you
can't hear me?
Get chopped up. Yeah, go ahead.
You sure it's not my Texas accent that's confusing me?
Go ahead. Start again. Say it again.
No, I was wondering, when it gets up to that really nice level you marked, won't we then be in a nice uptrend on the 60-minute?
So now that depends. That's why I said the assumption was that we rally straight through this zone, right, and hit the supply that I've drawn out. But if you're right, if we hit this zone first, like I'm anticipating, and we push back and make a higher low, then by the time I get up here, the trend will be up. You are correct. Right? But if I just do this, rally, base, rally, then the trend will not be up.
So if the trend is up, you would not be looking to short there, I guess.
That is correct. It will be a counter trend trade. So, again, counter trend. So it depends on what it looks like as we get there. Okay? But yes, you're correct. Good analysis. Malik, go ahead, man.
Joe, can you draw on the 60 a supply zone at 123.490 and 123.555?
123.490. 123.490. Where is that? 123.
It's actually pretty much where price is right now.
Where price is now. Okay, I see what you're looking at. Okay. So that's the zone that you just mentioned before that we're in, and I told you that we already hit that, and I don't know what right over here. This is the way. Let's say.
Now look on the left-hand side. It's actually a flip zone.
I see it. It is. It's a
flip zone on the left, right?
Let me do this. Let me say this.
You get a ton of air
if I was watching this chart, let's say if I drew this. Again, this is Friday of price action. I wasn't working. Thursday night, I would have drawn this zone on the chart. No question about it. I agree with you. But when I turned on the screen an hour ago, we were already there. I don't draw zones when price is already there. That's the only reason it's not on the chart. So, yes, you're right. If I did this on Thursday, I would have drawn this because you're right. There's a drop-based drop. We made a new low down here. Out of this area, it would have been there. The only reason I didn't draw is because we came back on Friday right into the zone. And we're still there. But, yes, there is a zone there. Agreed.
And we've got a ton of air on the 15 and the 5.
Yeah, we'll have to go look at it. Yeah, but, yeah, you have room till the demand zone over here. Whatever that is. Looks like 212. Yeah, that's a lot of room. You're right. It is a lot of room. So, yeah, definitely. Okay, cool.
All right, thanks.
You got it. Okay. Next. Let's go look at the yen. So the yen had obviously a move again reacting to Trump. We had a big pop up, right? The market, the yen was turning over. You could see that we put in the lower high of the daily chart again over here. Right? Nice little move down into demand area. It looks like we tested the 50 average on the daily chart. We got the pop there. Coming back to, what was a gap area demand. I have to clean it now. Turn it around. It's become a supply zone, actually, so let's fix that. I must have missed that when I was doing my charts before, so let's take care of that now. This comes off, and the supply looks like this. So let's see what we got. So here's where it starts, and here's where it ends. And that's the supply. You can see it's the prior, it's the prior low. And we've rallied right back into that supply zone, and it's starting to pause a little bit. So again, this is waiting to see what happens with Trump. You know, if he comes back and talks to us, we'll probably get another pop-up, and if he doesn't say anything, we'll roll over and break down. So there's the supply zone. There's the prior low. There's the touch of the zone. Okay, there's a little bit of demand under here, which I didn't draw just yet. I put it because I put it on the 15 chart. It's here, these zones. Okay, and again, we'll have to watch and see how this plays out. Where's yen going? Down. That's what I would say. I think we're going down because I believe the market's going to rally very soon and very hard, especially if they do come out with a, China and Trump and making deals. This thing is just going to rip to the top. Okay, so be careful with any shorts. Very, very careful. Especially because China news comes out in the middle of the night. You're sleeping and then you wake up and you're screwed. So be careful. Okay, Aussie dollar. We were looking for the Aussie to turn around and start to rally last week. And it started to do that, but then it just fell asleep and ended up pulling backwards a little bit. On the end of the day, the candle was an inside candle on the weekly chart. So we didn't go anywhere at all. We're sort of holding the lows back here. You can see that. And we're just stuck pretty much right around the 7,700 to 76, call it 50, 60 area, waiting for this to, to get back to 7,800. I think that's where it's going to go. It's going to try and tag the, looks like actually the 50 and the 200 are probably going to converge somewhere over here. And we'll have to wait and see how that goes because that's the golden cross. Well, let's see what happens over there. Aussie. So there's the messy chart. Yeah, we're stuck right between supply and demand on the 60. You can see it. It's clear as day. We're banging around, going nowhere. So hands off for now until it decides which way it's going to break. I believe it's going to break up. But until it gets going, I'm not trading this sucker. Nothing doing here. Let's move on unless you have a question. BP had a really nice week. Remember last week we had the bearish twins, and then at the beginning of the week we started selling off. We broke down a little further. We came back into daily demand, and then the massive rip on Friday, just totally exploding and holding the demand down there on the. You can see it. It looks like it tested 104, maybe even to the tick or something like that, really close to 104, and shot right back up into the supply zone, which is where we ended the week. Right back up there, it's a pair of twins on the daily chart. And it already had a lower high, and this might be a second lower high, or this might be, a chance to just run through the top. So, again, if the dollar is going to rally like I'm expecting, I don't think BP is really going up through the top again. The fresh supply is really, really, really close on the 60 chart. It had a really nice pop. I think we're actually going to roll over out of this sucker. There's some demand down here. There's actually one more demand zone of the 15 that will really tell us if we're going to be able to hold this or not. It's this really tight doji. I didn't write it I didn't draw it only because it's so close to current price. But that right there would tell us if we start breaking through that zone, then then we're probably just going to retrace the air underneath it totally all the way back to down over here. So there's nothing here. The trend was down on BP. You can see that we just rallied off the most recent lows right into demand. We saw this was a daily level, and we were able to build this little lower high here. Higher low, and then we just retraced the air, and we took out this supply zone, which is this, right? Oh, so those get retested usually. If it's going to rally, we're going to go back like this or like this. And so can we get a little higher? I don't really think we are, but it's possible. But for me, I'm leaning bearish on the currencies only because of what I'm expecting to happen with the dollar. So, I think the supply zone is still a valid short. Very nice fresh supply zone that is, about 2 weeks old or something like that. Looks like at least a week or if not more, and sitting right above the basing area. So they will stop everybody out that has their stops over here. It's like a little trap. We come over here and then we start selling off. So watch potential shorts for the pound. Okay. Canadian says, yeah. Well, the weekly chart is damn bullish. Really, really bullish. Look at this. Right? Take a look here. Nice pair of twins after the base drop. Immediately retracement. Then the doji candle last week, and then the engulfing candle this week. Baby. Yes, sir. Take a look up here. Boom. So we're up into the air on the daily chart. It looks like, what sort of gave us a little back test over here was like the top of the Bollinger Bands and the /50 moving average on the daily chart. Gave us just a pair of twins back right to, the area that we were starting to break out of. So there's really, really, really nice demand sitting over here. Okay, you can see this with all these prior highs back here. It's basically the back test of this breakout area. So doji over here, the daily chart. If we can get back to that thing, it's a long all the way. We're looking at, I think, we're going through even the 79,500. I think we might be talking about 8,000 before this thing stops. So Canadian looks like it's getting ready for a nice little pop here. It's already started, and it's time to catch the longs. So let's see where that's sitting at. So our 60 chart, you'll see that it got up there, made a new high, hit some supply, pulled back down. I love this demand zone under here. It's not so fresh, but it looks really nice. You can see that one's working really well. And 7,800 or so is an entry. Looks like a good spot. That's the zone. Okay, a little bit under 7,800. It's right there on the 15. That's the spot you're looking for. Right here, entry long. This demand. 77940, 77900. Okay, and obviously after that, there's a couple other zones, but that one looks really nice. Should we be able to get down there? There's actually one more. It's over here, right? I didn't draw it only because not such a strong high. We didn't really break through anything yet. Should this turn around over here and make new highs, I'll start looking at that zone over here. Right now, it looks like it wants to pull back down a little further and hopefully give us a chance down here to get into the longs. Okay, that's what we're looking at as far as Canadian is concerned. And let's take a look at copper. Again, feel free to ask questions along the way. Copper, time to be long, folks. Okay. Yep. Get my pen back, please. Pen, there we go. Okay. So on the weekly chart, you see that we came back into fresh demand back here. It was demand that made the most recent high, and it's starting to hold. Okay, take a look. Take a look. Here's the higher low on the daily chart. We already hit the supply zone, and now we're making another higher low. The 200 moving average is holding us to 50 on the 200. On the 240 chart, we landed in the demand zone. So again, if we can hold this zone that we're in right here, we're talking about a pop all the way back to 3.2. Okay. So copper looks pretty strong to me. I'd be interested in this. Let's take a look and see if we can find where that bubble is. All right, so on the 60, we're sort of stuck in between demand and supply. I love this 3 level, fantastic. If we're able to hold it, I think if I remember correctly, I was looking at the 15. There's a zone that's just slightly underneath, like right over here. That looks a little better. We're going to look at it, but anywhere around this 3 number looks to be the place where we want to join these longs over here. This is the level that made the most recent high. You can see that. Yes, I know there's a lower high in the way, but at this point, the higher time frames are telling us this really wants to rally. I wouldn't mind taking a long underneath us over here. Let's just take a look at the zone I'm talking about. There's a lot of air up here also, right? Remember that copper is also very volatile when it comes to China news, so any kind of deal with America is going to send copper to the roof, okay? So let's take a look here. There's the demand zone. It is slightly underneath. It goes down to 2995, just under 3. If you want to be a little more stingy, maybe start your zone over here, but that's the spot you're looking for to join the longs for copper, okay? Cool. All right, that's that. And let's go take a look at soy. That one started really working well as far as the rebound. I mean, gap down and massive, massive rally engulfing gap. That doesn't happen very often, right? That was the China nonsense, right? And then we gapped down. We closed up here. We opened down here, but look what we did. Boom. Total freaking engulfing candle and landed right inside supply. So we should get one more back test with another chance over here. The only thing, again, with the soybeans is that it's one of the items on China's list for the for the tariffs, and that's what's really causing this massive, huge range movements of soybeans. Again, the target for me for soy is up here at 1150. You can see, I mean, it's almost perfection on the back test to the breakout area. Look at the wick. Look where it went. See that? There was the wedge that we had on our weekly chart, and we broke above it, and then we back tested it right there. Went all the way down to 970 something. Look at this thing, right? And that was the back test, and now we're getting ready to just explode out of the other side. This is going up here. That's where it's going. So be very diligent to pay attention to soy, because this thing is now cleaned out supply above. I mean, it's just telling you get the hell long. And this is the spot I like for this week. Hopefully, if we're lucky, we get a chance to hit, to enter long around 1020. Right, 19 to 22 is the level I'm looking at. It's the same level on the 60 60 chart. It's right there. There is another one lower down again, but again, I'd like to see this level hold here. I'm going to try this one hopefully tomorrow morning. Again, soy I like to trade only when, around 9:30 or later after the bell rings. And it tends to move around a lot right around that time. It stop people out. Well, it usually gets to places where you think it's not going to, so give it a chance to reach you. But along down here, it targets 1150. I mean, that's just nuts, right? So keep your eye on that sucker. Okay, this is a $150 risk, and we're talking about the reward is something like $6,000 for one contract. 150 to 6,000 is nonsense. I mean, that's just ridiculous risk to reward ratio. Okay, so keep your eye on that level over there. Let's see what it looks like. A quick look at the bonds, which I don't think I actually looked at before. So let's see what the hell happened. Okay, yeah, makes sense. I mean, we rallied on Friday. Okay, so that's what happened over here. And it looks like we got another higher low. So let's fix this over here. This was demand on my chart down here, the 240, that became actually a supply zone, which we actually broke through since the last time I looked at this chart. So let's fix the demand zone over here. So, okay, hey, Andrew, we'll take your question in a second. This is demand over here. What are we looking at? This looks pretty bullish to me. At least on the daily chart, this thing looks like, wow. Okay, we were able to back test over here, and we've got air. I would say we're looking at probably something over here as the next supply zone. This little doji on the weekly chart is probably where we're trying to get to, which is this 148 level. So there's room for the upside over here. There's some supply over here. All right, right there, a little bit lower down. But for now, it looks like we got some air, this level over here, that we're about to arrive into. Well, is that fresh? Yeah, actually it is. It is. So we have to see what that looks like on a 60. Let's go take a look. It's a fresh supply zone. All right, let me draw it on. I'll just draw it on the 60. I'll take your question in a second, Andrew. All right, there it is. Oh, actually, I already have it on the 60 chart, so that's cool. And there we go. So that's some demand right here. This is drawn like this. Okay. There's 60 demand. There's 60 supply. And we've got air up into that supply zone. So I would say we're looking for a long, at least it's the 146, 147 area. Okay, let's clean up the 15 chart there because I haven't done it yet. That was here. And the demand over here is right there. So it's like level on level. Let's fix this. Alert. U.S. demand. Okay, that's the demand we got right there. And that should be it. So let's take Andrew's question. Go ahead, Andrew. What's up, man?
Hi, I'm one of your new members. Just been
welcome
for a week. Thank you. And I'm trying to follow through. I'm learning a lot, but I have a question. In reading your rules, you stated that you draw your zones just to include the wick. At times it looks as though you include the bodies as well. Can you explain that? An example would be
so I don't know. Did you watch the video yet on drawing zones?
I did. If
okay, so I'll answer your question first, and then you'll tell me what to look at first. But what I like to do is when I'm talking about not picking up bodies, I don't mind if there's a body behind the zone. I care when Price left the area, there should be no bodies after that. Wicks after that, fine, no problem. Bodies after that, So go ahead and ask your question now. Like, let's say over here, this should be like this, like here.
Okay, yeah. If you look at the 60 on the soy that you just drew,
okay, let's go back. Yep. Okay, let me go. I'll go back there. Let's look at it together. Hold on. 60 on the soy. You got it. No problem. 60 soy. Here we go. And let me blow it up for everybody.
It just is that the proximal line includes the body, so it just
there you go. Yep,
I'm sorry, I just want to get the rules right.
No, absolutely correct. You're right. So sometimes if I'm drawing it when the chart is not fully exposed, so the line didn't go to the right spot. But you're absolutely correct. It should not include this body at all. It should be on the wick. And notice that behind me, I don't care about the body behind me. I don't care.
Sure.
And the Price should come back into the zone over here.
Okay,
right?
Thank you.
I don't know. It's okay.
I split hairs. I just want to get the rules right.
I appreciate it. I have no problem. I'm explaining to you. So listen for 1 second. Okay? No problem. If Price should come back into the zone, okay, and not pierce the zone, I will adjust my proximal line to make sure that only the wicks are included in the zone now. The proximal line will move to wherever the wicks were. It will not have any bodies inside the zone over here at all. Understood?
Thank you. Yes.
Cool.
Okay.
Thank
you.
You got it.
Your answer. Thank you.
No problem. My pleasure. Anybody else have a question before we wrap up today's session? Okay, guys. Eddie. Yeah, Eddie and the team. Cool. Go ahead. Feel free to ask, man. I'm just come back from vacation. I'm really relaxed. Yeah, Ed, go ahead.
Hi. Sorry. I just wanted to remind you. You had mentioned last time you were going to email those news.
Yes. Yes. Thank you. I didn't get a chance to do it from the beach. I'll take care of it today.
Okay, and the other thing is, I can't find your voice controls that you said if we wanted to use yours, you can go ahead.
So if you look at my pinned tweet, the pinned tweet on the private feed is a link to everything that you're asking for. It's all there. Okay?
You remember when that pinned tweet was?
It's the top. Go to my profile for the Cosmic Trading profile. It's the first tweet. You'll see a link.
All right.
Got it? No problem. You got it. The team, go ahead, buddy.
If you go to Canadian on your 60 minutes.
60 Canadian, no problem. Hold on.
So if you can blow it up a little bit. Was it Canadian? No, I don't think it was. Sorry, go to 15 minutes.
Okay. Bigger, smaller?
No, I think it was something else. Never mind.
Okay, so if you'll send me an email if you have a question.
Well, yeah, basically what it was is that on the supply side, you had a zone on a 60 minute, but not on Canadian. It could be Canadian or BP, one of those two. There was on a 60-minute chart, either BP, there was a strong leg moving out right above the zone, right there. All right. So you see around 1418 or 1419 up in the zone that you have right now, just a little bit above where the strong leg is moving out.
Wick?
No, on the left side where you have your supply zone written. No, go up left.
Right this there, area over here? Yeah.
So usually in the past I would.
Good question. Okay, you could stop. I understand your question. Your question is why didn't I put my distal line over here? Right? Yes, that's your question. And the answer is when it's too big, as far as risk is concerned, then I only pick up the wick. But you're right. Normally, if this was a little deeper in here, that's how I would draw it, and that's the way it should be drawn. But when it becomes too big, I don't want to risk that much.
So would you draw another zone?
So there's a couple of things you can do. Okay, and I'll give you a couple of tricks while we're talking about it now. So here we go. Watch what we can do. Okay, either I draw it this way, or I draw it like this, and I don't include any wicks, or I will drop down to the 15 and find this supply zone and make it something that is feasible for me to trade. Right? Those are what you can do. One of those. But you know that there's supplies somewhere in this area, and sometimes I don't need to be exact with my zone because how does the trade work? Well, I have to hit the zone, and then I'm going to watch it work over here. Right. So I don't really, I don't have to be perfect over here. I just have to know it's around somewhere over here, and then I'm going to start looking for my entry on the little time frame. You know what I mean?
You're just waiting for the notification to tell you, hey, something has happened. Then you go into a smaller time frame, and if it has turned down, then you
That's correct.
Okay. Thank you.
Exactly. Good. Keith, go ahead, buddy. What's up?
Hi again, Joe. Just a quick question about what you trade on. I was thinking you were setting alerts on your laptop here. So do you trade on it? You don't trade on a laptop, do you?
So what you're actually watching is not my laptop. It's actually my desktop, but I'm logged in to my desktop. I'm controlling my desktop from my laptop. And when I am trading on the road, that's what I do as well. I'm controlling my desktop through my laptop.
I see. Rather than, because I was trying to figure out if you were running TradeStation separately on your laptop and you had.
So you can do it. There is a way to do it, especially when you're saving your charts in the cloud, and then you can open up your TradeStation, on your laptop and just load the charts that were previously saved from your desktop, which is what I do occasionally will do. But I just found it much easier to just do everything on my desktop. I'm logged in, my desktop's on, and I can do whatever I need to do.
Okay, all right then. Yeah, no, I just wondered if you had if you had the desktop running and then you had a laptop with alerts, and I was wondering how you.
You could do that if you wanted to, but you have to have multiple accounts with access to TradeStation to do something.
Yeah. Because I couldn't find a way to get on twice. I can get on my desktop and my iPad at the same time.
Right.
But not with a laptop.
That is correct.
Okay, all right.
Ashwani, go ahead.
Hi, Joe.
What's up?
Hey, it's Ashwani. That BP question we had for 60, I forget the guy before me. I have the same zone drawn, and the reason I drew it that way was on the left it's a flip, and it's a trap for resistance. Like there's, all those basing, and it's a zone right above that.
Yep. Right.
Does that make a little bit? Yeah.
Absolutely. It's right here. Beautiful. Yep. Agreed. We can all agree the supply is somewhere over here. Where exactly? Tough call, but it's definitely there. I don't, what I'm saying? That's why, you can just watch around and play around. When it gets to this area, start to use a small time frame. But I agree with you. Yep, looks good. Eddie, go ahead. Question, Ed?
No, it's related to what I asked you before on the voice alerts. I'm not talking about the explanation of them. I think in one of them you said we can either use our own voice or we can use your voice.
Yeah, my voice file is there. You should have a folder that says voice alerts in there, or voice recordings or something like that. If it's not there, I'll double check. But if it's not there, I'll post it. I'm pretty sure it's there.
Okay, because
All right. Actually, all right. But if it's not there, it will be there in 5 minutes. How's that? If it's not there, come back in 5 minutes. It'll be there. Okay.
All right. Thanks.
All right, but you got it, man. Everyone else have a great weekend, guys. I'll see you guys Wednesday morning. And so starting tomorrow, I'm back full time on Twitter. Pay attention to tweets. I'm sure we're going to have another wild equities trades tomorrow. Okay. Everyone have a great weekend. Enjoy the rest of the day. I'll talk to you guys later. Ciao.